Hey everyone, Richard Metal Fan here, bringing you guys an old school album review. And today is this album's 30th anniversary, and in my opinion, one of my all-time favorite albums, period. And as you can see by the shirt I'm wearing and by the title, today we're going to be looking into Seventh Son of a Seventh Son by Iron Maiden. And right here I have the CD, and I have an original press vinyl of it. And this came out on April 11th, 1988, through, I believe, EMI Records or something. I can't remember the label that they were signed on at the time. But anyway, now Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, it marks like a lot of different, it marks a lot of things. It marks like the end of their run in the 1980s, and it marks sort of like their end of like their experimental run, because on the previous album, Somewhere in Time, the band sort of experimented with synthesizers and like keyboards and stuff. And I remember, and there was one clip in one Maiden documentary from 1984 around the time of Power Slave, where this fan came up to Bruce and said that I'd like to play heavy metal with synthesizers, and Bruce says, well, you can't play heavy metal with synthesizers. But flash forward 2 albums later, we would have the synthesizers and keyboards which would be introduced to Maiden sound. So be careful what you say. Now, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son is, to me, well, to a lot of fans, would consider one of Iron Maiden's best albums. I have to agree. I think it's pretty much a fucking flawless album. Like, everything about this album is just where it needs to be. Like, the production is just superb. It's just spot on. I believe produced by and engineered by the great Martin Birch. He produced all their albums from Killers up till, I believe, Fear of the Dark, and definitely knows where it needs to be and stuff. The vocal work, Bruce's vocals, man, I'll tell you what, probably like I said, one of my favorite vocalists of all time. He definitely sounds pretty good on this album. Guitar-wise, Dave Murray and Adrian Smith, like, just their leads and just solos and stuff on this album is just superb. Like, the musicianship in general on this album is just really great. And bass-wise, Steve Harris, like, his bass tone on this album just sounds superb. You always hear him very well in the mix. And drumming-wise, I mean, Nico McBrain's drums are just really great. I mean, I don't know what's happened, like, in the year 1988. Like, I swear, the drum sound on this album is good. Like, a lot of drum sounds from a lot of metal albums from 1988 sound good. Like, Lars are from Injustice for All, South of Heaven, all that good stuff. Just the drums and stuff is just really great. Without further ado, let's dive into this album track by track. Now, the album opens up with Moonchild, and also, before I should also mention, this album is also the only Iron Maiden album to be a concept album, which talks about the clairvoyant who has sort of like the healing and powers and all this shit. So yeah, this is so far the only album in Iron Maiden's discography to be a concept album. But yeah, back to the album, it's track by track. Let's go into Moonchild, where Bruce kind of introduces the concept with 2 short verses, the second being particularly interesting, which kind of foreshadows doom and failure for the protagonist. And then right after the spoken word part, it's just that and sort of like an acoustic guitar. Then a heavy synth section starts it off before the guitars sort of like build it up. And then musically, the song is just fast-paced, and it sounds really cool. And it features solos from both Dave and Adrian, with Dave sort of taking the spotlight. And Bruce's singing really helps add to this energetic opener. There is just a really good track and a good way to start off this album. Next song is Infinite Dreams, and this is a personal song written by Steve Harris. The lyrics kind of explored the themes of reality, life after death, and the meaning of life. The lyrics seem to be one long question asking, what happens next? And in my opinion, Infinite Dreams is one of the best songs on this album, and it features excellent melodic harmonies from both guitarists. Bruce's singing is top-notch, and it goes along with the instruments quite well. And the song starts slowly with a mellow riff, which kind of almost reminds you a little bit of like the Klansman off of Virtual 11, which comes out 10 years after this. And this song actually progresses, and it builds up to 2 solos, which is pretty much the highlight musically. And then the song kind of slows down again and fades out with sort of like Bruce chanting and again and again and again. Overall, really, really good song. And the album continues with one of Iron Maiden's most popular songs, Can I Play With Madness? I mean, it's a very energetic song, and music is just really simple and stuff. The solo is kind of short, and the chorus is very catchy. and the song really doesn't rely on the synths a whole lot, and it still sounds like an Iron Maiden song, but it's still a kick-ass song. The fourth song on the album is called "The Evil That Men Do," another favorite of Maiden fans, and the music is kind of repetitive, but it seems to be really focused. I mean, this song features a gallopy bass line and excellent vocals from Bruce. They're saying that the lead sections are very melodic and follow Bruce's vocal lines as very well as it needed. The song features a harmony section and a short solo from Adrian before the chorus is repeated again. Overall, "The Evil That Men Do" is a good song, and I love it. Here we go. We get to, in my opinion, the highlight of this album. We get to the title track of the album, "Seventh Son of a Seventh Son." It's quite easily the best song on the whole album. This song is pretty around 10 minutes in length, and this band shows its creativity, especially when the long instrumental part begins. The song uses synths effectively to create sort of like a mystical feeling in the song, and Bruce's singing is top-notch in the song, though the song only contains 3 short verses and 2 choruses, and the last chorus fades out. The first interlude is played before a quite eerie bass line leads up to the song's spoken part. And right here is where Bruce sort of describes the seventh son of a seventh son, his powers, and his significance to the story. At the end of Bruce's speech, the synth starts up again, adding sort of like that mystical touch to the song, before a melodic bridge is played. Finally, the listeners agree to the first solo, and just all hell breaks loose. The solo is followed by a short bridge, and then another begins. Then the dueling guitars are a welcome change from the repetitive verse chorus method used in the previous 2 songs. Easily a masterpiece and one of the Iron Maiden's best songs. Right, moving on to "The Prophecy." It's kind of like a slower song on here. It's very sad sounding. The lyrics are the highlight here, as they not only move the story's plot along, but also reflects on how society refuses to listen to explicit warnings and its refusal to take blame where it's needed. And the music is excellent, and it fits within the theme of the song, and the song flies by. It leaves a lot to be desired after the amazing title track. And I just love, like, near the end of the song is sort of like fades out and it goes into a beautiful acoustic part, and it always gives me chills every time I hear that part. And I've actually can learn how to play it on acoustic guitar years ago. I still like to play it again. But overall, good song. Now we get to the 7th song on Seventh Son of a Seventh Son, which is "The Clairvoyant," which begins with a very cool bass intro from Steve. And this is the first time I think Iron Maiden has started with a bass intro since probably Killers. But then it just goes into sort of like the guitars from Dave and Adrian. And "The Clairvoyant" is sort of like a very up-tempo song, and it sort of breathes life into the listener after the last song. The chorus is especially strong and amongst the catchiest moments of the album. And this song has no flaws, as well as with like the rest of this album. The biggest one is being the length of the solo, and the lyrics are just strong as ever, as well presented by Bruce. And then the album closes with "Only the Good Die Young," the final chapter of the concept. It's sort of where it ties up the whole storyline. Musically, some of the parts of "Only the Good Die Young" are kind of reminiscent to the song "Killers" from the album Killers, which came out like 7 years prior. Here, Bruce's vocals are again top-notch. The song ends with a fast solo from Dave Murray. As a concept album, it's fitting that the end it ends sort of like the way it starts, as it was in the beginning, where Bruce sort of wraps up the album with the same kind of verse as he spoke before the Moonchild began. So it's kind of cool how it all goes into one big circle. Now, overall, Seventh Son of a Seventh Son was an end of an era for Iron Maiden, and I just really think this is where they should have done with like their next couple albums. But it was like after that they kind of went, okay. But overall, this album is, in my opinion, probably one of the best Iron Maiden albums, I have to agree. And if I were to give this album a score, I definitely would give this a solid 10 out of 10. It's, like, that good. Like, everything is just perfect. Like, I don't think there's nothing wrong with this album at all. But, yeah, that's my review of Seventh Son of the Seventh Son, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it. And I also have footage from the show I went to last night. I saw a dying fetus, and there is murder. So I got footage uploaded with that, as well as this review. So be on the lookout for that as well. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching my review of Iron Maiden Seventh Son of the Seventh Son. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of the album for this year. Today's the 30th anniversary, like I said, and keep it metal.